children. In today's class, we are going to discuss about limiting reagents from Unit 1. Limiting reagents. Earlier, we learned that the stoichiometric concept is useful in predicting the amount of product formed in a given chemical reaction. If the reaction is carried out with the stoichiometric quantities of reactants, then all the reactants will be converted into products. On the other hand, when a reaction is carried out using non-stoichiometric quantities of the reactants, the product yield will be determined by the reactant that is completely consumed. It limits the further reaction from taking place and is called as the limiting reagent. Yes, what is limiting reagent? When a reaction is carried out using non-stoichiometric quantities of the reactants, the product yield will be determined by the reactant that is completely consumed. It limits the further reaction from taking place and is called as the limiting reagent. The other reagents which are in excess are called the excess reagents. Yes, to understand limiting reagents, let us recall the analogy that we used in stoichiometric concept, that is Cassary preparation. As per the recipe requirement, 2 cups of sugar are needed for every cup of rava. Isn't it? Yes, 2 cups of sugar are needed for every cup of rava. Consider a situation, okay, yes, where 8 cups of sugar and 3 cups of rava are available. Yes, here consider a situation, 8 cups, okay, 8 cups of sugar, okay, yes, 8 cups of sugar and 3 cups, okay ma, 3 cups of rava are available, okay, yes, 6 cups of Cassary is prepared, okay, yes, by using 1 cup of rava, okay, and 2 cups of sugar we know. Okay children, yes, here we took 8 cups of sugar and 3 cups of rava. Okay children, yes, so here we can prepare 18 cups of Cassary. Okay, yes, by using, yes, 3 cups of rava. Understand children? Yes, yes, we know, already we discussed. Okay, 6 cups of Cassary is prepared by using 1 cup of rava and 2 cups of sugar. Okay children, here we took, yes, 8 cups of sugar and 3 cups of rava. Okay, so as per the cooking recipe, we require 3 cups of rava and 6 cups of sugar, okay, to prepare 18 cups of Cassary. Isn't it? Yes, 3 cups, okay, 3 cups of rava, yes, then plus 6 cups of sugar, okay, 6 cups of sugar, okay, yes, that gives 18 cups of Cassary, okay, yes, so here 3 cups of rava is completely used, okay, here we took 8 cups of sugar. Understand children? From the 8 cups of sugar, only 6 cups of sugar is used. Okay ma'am? Yes, 3 cups of rava is completely used, whereas from the 8 cups of sugar, only 6 cups of sugar is used. Okay children? Yes. So, here the rava is completely consumed. Okay. Yes. So, rava is the limiting reagent. Okay children? Then from 8 cups of sugar, only 6 cups of sugar is used. Okay. Yes. 2 more cups of sugar is in excess. Understand children? Yes. Even though we have 2 more cups of sugar left, we cannot make any more quantity of Cassary. Yes, because there is no rava is available. Yes, therefore rava is the limiting reagent and sugar is the excess reagent. Understand? Yes. We can extend this analogy for the chemical reaction also. Now we can see one example. Let us consider the reaction of sulfur with fluorine. Here, 3 moles of sulfur is allowed to react with 9 moles of fluorine. Okay, the number of moles of sulfur taken is 3 moles. Okay, 3 moles of sulfur is allowed to react with 12 moles of fluorine. Okay, yes. So, when 3 moles of sulfur is allowed to react with the 12 moles of fluorine means which is the limiting reagent. Okay, yes. How to determine the limiting reagent in a chemical reaction means by writing a balanced chemical equation. That is, with the help of the balanced chemical equation and with the help of the quantity of the reactants taken, we can determine the limiting reagent of a chemical reaction. Now we can write the balanced chemical equation for the reaction of sulfur with fluorine. Okay, children, yes. So here sulfur, okay, sulfur reacts with, that is 1 mole of sulfur reacts with 3 moles of fluorine and gives 1 mole of sulfur hexafluoride. Okay, this is the balanced chemical equation. Yes, 1 mole of sulfur reacts with 3 moles of fluorine and gives 1 mole of sulfur hexafluoride, SF6. Okay, now we can write the stoichiometric coefficient of the reaction. Yes, so 1 mole of sulfur is reacting, so 1:3:1. Okay, yes. Understand? 1 mole of sulfur reacts with 3 moles of fluorine and gives 1 mole of sulfur hexafluoride. In this reaction, we took 3 moles of sulfur, okay, and 12 moles of fluorine. Okay, children, yes. As per stoichiometric equation, 1 mole of sulfur is reacting. Okay, yes. Therefore, for 1 stoichiometric ratio of sulfur, all the 3 moles of sulfur will react. Then here, as per stoichiometric equation, 3 moles of fluorine is involving in the chemical reaction. So, for 3 stoichiometric ratio of fluorine, from the 12 moles of fluorine, only 9 moles of fluorine will react. Understand, children? Yes, here the stoichiometric ratio of the reactants are 1:3. Therefore, 3 moles of sulfur will react with 9 moles of fluorine, okay, and give 3 moles of sulfur hexafluoride. Understand, children? Yes, so from the 12 moles of fluorine, only 9 moles of fluorine is reacting, whereas all the 3 moles of sulfur is completely consumed. Understand? Yes. So here sulfur is the limiting reagent and fluorine is the excess reagent. Children, did you understand? Yes. We can determine the limiting reagent of a chemical reaction with the help of the stoichiometric coefficient of the reaction and the quantity of the reactants taken. Yes, which is the limiting reagent here? Sulfur. The excess reagent is fluorine. Okay, here there are 3 moles of fluorine are in excess. The 3 moles of fluorines do not react because all the 3 moles of sulfur is completely consumed. Understand, children? Yes, sulfur is the limiting reagent and fluorine is the excess reagent. Clear, children? Now we can see the example sum given under limiting reagents. The sum is urea, a commonly used nitrogen based fertilizer. The formula of urea is NH2CONH2. Yes. Urea, a commonly used nitrogen based fertilizer, is prepared by the reaction of ammonia with carbon dioxide. The balanced equation for the preparation of urea is S2NH3 plus CO2 gives NH2CONH2 plus H2O. In this equation, ammonia and carbon dioxide is in the gaseous state and urea in the aqueous state and water is in the liquid state. Okay, children. In this process, 646 gram of ammonia is allowed to react with 1.144 kilogram of CO2, which is the limiting reagent. Then calculate the quantity of urea formed and the quantity of unreacted, okay, excess reagent. These are all the three questions. Now we can see the calculation part. Yes, here the solution is given in the form of a table. So see the table, all of you. Yes, the balanced equation is 2NH3 plus CO2 gives NH2CO NH2 plus H2O. First we can write the stoichiometric coefficients of the reaction. Okay, yes, the stoichiometric coefficient of the reaction is 2:1:1:1. That is 2 moles of ammonia reacts with 1 mole of CO2 and gives 1 mole of urea and 1 mole of water. Okay, children. Yes, and the next step we can find out the number of moles of the reactants allowed to react. Yes, here the mass of the ammonia given in gram. Okay, so we can convert the mass to number of moles. Yes, the formula for the calculation of number of moles is, that is mass by molar mass, isn't it? Yes, number of moles is equal to mass by molar mass. Okay, children. Therefore, the number of moles of ammonia allowed to react here is, yes, mass of ammonia is 646. Then molar mass of ammonia is 17 gram per mole. Okay, therefore 646 divided by 17 is equal to 38 moles. Yes, remember 38 moles of ammonia is allowed to react. Okay, children. Yes, then here, yes, the number of moles of CO2 we should find out. Okay, children. Here 1.144 kilogram of CO2 is allowed to react. Okay, children. Yes, therefore number of moles of CO2 allowed to react is 1144 gram. The kilogram should be converted to gram. Therefore 1144 gram divided by molar mass of CO2 is 44. Okay, which is equal to 26 moles. So 26 moles of CO2 is allowed to react. Okay, ma. Yes. So number of moles, okay, consumed. Yes, now we are going to calculate what's the number of moles of ammonia and CO2 is consumed during the reaction. Okay, children. Yes, how to find out number of moles of the ammonia and CO2 consumed? With the help of the stoichiometric coefficient, okay, and with the help of the quantity of the reactants taken. Okay, children. Here, yes, the number of moles of ammonia allowed to react, number of moles of ammonia reacted as per the stoichiometric coefficient is 2, isn't it? Okay, yes, that is the stoichiometric coefficient of ammonia is 2, and the number of moles of ammonia allowed to react is 38. Okay, children. Yes, so for 2 stoichiometric coefficient of ammonia, the number of moles of ammonia reacted will be 38. Understand, children? Yes, if 38 moles of ammonia is reacting for 2 stoichiometric coefficient, means the number of moles of CO2 reacted will be 19 moles, because here the stoichiometric coefficient of CO2 is 1. Understand, children? Yes. So remember, for 1 stoichiometric coefficient of ammonia, 19 moles will be reacted. Therefore, for 2 stoichiometric coefficient of ammonia, 38 moles. That is, all the 38 moles of ammonia will be reacted. Therefore, the number of moles of CO2 reacted will be 19 only. Okay, from the 26 moles of CO2, only 19 moles of CO2 will be reacted. Okay, children. So, here, the 38 moles of ammonia is completely consumed. So, ammonia is the limiting reagent. Understand, children? And not the CO2. Okay, CO2 is the excess reagent. Understand? Yes, which is the limiting reagent here? Ammonia. The excess reagent is, CO2. Okay, how many moles of CO2 are in excess means 7 moles. Understand, ma? Yes, then now we can see the number of moles of product formed. Okay, here I mean 1 mole of urea and 1 mole of water is formed. Okay children, therefore number of moles of urea formed will be 19 moles. Similarly, number of moles of water formed is also 19 moles. Okay children, yes, so the limiting reagent is ammonia. Then next we can calculate quantity of urea formed. Okay, yes, I mean mass is equal to number of moles into molar mass. Okay, yes, number of moles of urea formed into molar mass. Okay, here number of moles of urea formed is, I mean number of moles of urea, okay, urea formed is 19 moles. Its molar mass is 60 gram per mole. Therefore 19 moles into 60 gram per mole is equal to, yes, I mean 1140 gram, which is equal to 1.14 kilogram. Okay children, therefore the quantity of urea formed in kilogram is 1.14. Okay ma, yes. The next we can calculate amount of, yes, the unreacted one. Here the unreacted one is the CO2. There is amount of CO2 left over. Okay, yes, the unreacted number of moles of CO2 is 7 moles. Now we can calculate the quantity of, yes, I mean a CO2 left over. Okay, yes, I mean amount of CO2 left over is equal to number of moles of CO2 left over into molar mass. Okay, yes. Here the number of moles of CO2 left is 7 moles. The molar mass of CO2 is 44 gram per mole. Therefore, 7 moles into 44 gram per mole is equal to 308 gram. Understand children? Yes, I mean it is one of the possible 5 mark sum.